You guys need to start thinking about your retirement. I understand when you work a regular job like 9 to 5, they contribute to your 401k. The biggest misconception is that people, especially on social media, have spread is right when you get out of trucking school, you're gonna end up making six figures. And I'm telling you the reality. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I slept here at a TA, got here last night, and the plan today is to get this load delivered. So I'm going to Charlotte International Airport. I have cargo for American Airlines, and I got to get this thing delivered 6 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. I only got about 351 miles to go, so 5.5 hours to drive. The plan is to just drive close to 4.5 hours, 5 hours today, and then sleep for at least a couple hours, and then get this thing delivered in the morning. Should be an easy day. The weather is pretty good. Let's go make sure everything is still good with the truck. All right, let's check the tires. Everything is good on this one. That's good. Man, especially with these fuel prices going up, you got to make sure nobody's stealing fuel. Man, this is so dirty. I got to get it washed. Drives are good. Let's make sure the seal is still intact and check the tires. The thing about trailer tires are, if you guys are not familiar, you basically, or I don't have to check the tire pressure because they all have a auto inflate. So if the pressure goes down, they inflate the tire by itself. The seal is still here. I got my own lock. These are good too. So I was talking about the auto inflate, right, on the trailer tires. If the trailer tires they blow out, or the pressure is really low where the auto inflate feature is not able to inflate the tire, this light up here, it lights up and it will let me know there's that one right there. It will light up and it will let me know the pressure is low on the trailer tires. So it's a good feature on the Great Dane drive-in trailers. And yeah, I'm gonna get back in the truck and let's drive. All the tires were good, so now let's put the address to the receiver. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to Trucker Path for sponsoring this video. And the thing you guys know about me is I've been using Trucker Path for a very long time, and so now let's create my trip. And Trucker Path has a really good feature where you're able to just create a trip. So that's what I did. Just put my location and the receiver's location. I'm just gonna hit route and it's gonna plan the trip for me. It's telling me 350 miles, 5 hours and 30 minutes. I'm gonna go with this option. Route number 1 is faster and also less miles. And you can also choose truck stops along the way with cheapest fuel. And right now, as you guys can see, TA has 487 along the way, and then there's Love's 562, Kmart 528. So I'm gonna hit go. I can hit this right here. I can see all the cat scales, and I can see the rest areas. So for example, if I click on the Rocky Gap Welcome Center, and it will let me know if there's any spots. Right now, 1 hour ago, it's saying some spots. Trucker Path is very nice when it comes to trip planning, so you guys do give it a shot. Now let's drive. Right is clear, left is clear. Let's make our turn. The fuel prices, what I noticed, is starting to come down a little bit too. I know it peaked at like 560, 570. At least, I don't know if it's temporary, but I've seen prices do come down. Speedway, it was telling me $4.70 to fill up. And I know most places by my home is coming down to $4.30 per gallon. From what I heard, at least online, they're saying the fuel prices have peaked at like $5.50 a gallon, and now they're gonna come back down to like $4 a gallon, and in a couple months it'll go back down to $2.90 like it used to be. I mean, who knows how true it is, but let's merge in. Let's drive. 4.5 hours to go, 272 miles. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this video. If you are, hit the subscribe button, like the channel. Follow me on Instagram. I do have an Instagram account. If you guys haven't followed me there. Alright, so what I was doing last night was I made a really decent list on what new CDL drivers should be expecting when they get in this industry. I know a lot of people are in my comment sections, they're either trying to get into this industry or they're very new, right? And they're very curious. So what I did was, after so many requests, I was like, let me make a list, which I did. And once I get to the receiver, drop this load off, I'll just sit down and share my knowledge. Because I do have I was a company driver for 2.5 years, and then I've been a owner-operator with my own authority for almost 4th year coming up. So I think I got a decent amount of experience, not too much, but I do have good amount of experience in this industry, and also a lot of people are requesting. So what I'll do is I'll share what you guys should be expecting when getting your CDL, and also if you are in CDL school, what to expect. And then once you do become a company driver, you know, what's the next steps and stuff like that. So you guys have a little bit of understanding, more clarity regarding this industry. So that's the plan. That's what I wanted to do in this video. I don't know if I wrote this on the list, but you have two options when you do get your CDL. You can either go to CDL school, or you can go get your CDL through company sponsored. So what that means is you can go to the traditional route, meaning you can go find your trucking school nearby, and then attend it for 1 to 2 months and then get your CDL through there. Or what you can do is you can go to one of these mega carriers, so Werner, Swift, or whatever company is offering CDL programs. So what you do is you contact them, you go get your CDL through them. But one of the cons about that is pretty much you're stuck with them from 9 to 10 months, right? If you go through a company sponsored CDL, you're stuck with them for, I'll say, 9-10 months, and then the pay will be pretty much very low compared to if you go join a company yourself, if you get your CDL through the school. And also the flexibility is very low when it comes to switching companies, because like I said, you guys are stuck in a contract with that company that got you CDL. And if you do want to break the contract, from my understanding is you have to pay them back the money that costs to get your CDL. The school option, if you go get your CDL, I personally, if you ask me, I went the school route, and I would do it again as well, because one is more freedom when it comes to choosing your company after you graduate, and also your pay will be very high starting out compared to company sponsored CDL. Also, there's no long-term contract, so if you want to go choose a company right after CDL school, you can do that. You don't like it, you can go choose another one, and then so on. One bad thing about trucking school is, if you go that route, it costs a lot of money. For me, it was $4,800. And now, I mean, who knows? That was a long time ago when I got my CDL. So now it's probably up there, probably $6,000, $7,000. And if you go to the company sponsored CDL route, where you get your CDL through a carrier, that's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but then you're stuck with them. The pay is going to be low. So you have two options when it comes to getting your CDL. So keep that in mind. If you're low on funds, then choose the company sponsored CDL route. If you do have, $5,000, $6,000 laying around and you want to go get your CDL, then trucking school is really the best option you have. Like I said, pay will be good, more flexibility and stuff like that. So it is getting a little dark. I don't know, the quality of this camera is not really that great at dark. So what we'll do is let's drive for a little bit, and as I get closer to the receiver, then I'll get back to you guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the video. I don't want to ramble on too much, but yeah, let's drive. Alright guys, made it to the receiver. My appointment is at 6 a.m. and right now the time is 5:30 a.m. So let's check if anyone's coming. All clear. But I do come to Charlotte a lot, but it is my first time here at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, so cargo and airline sport. So let's see where I'm supposed to go. I did check on Trucker Path, make sure, you know, I don't turn in any street that I'm not supposed to, and I don't want to get stuck. But I did my due diligence coming out here. But it was a super easy load. I got this picked up 2 days ago. I went home when I picked it up in Chicago, and then I started driving here, slept at a TA, then slept a little bit, I think 2 hours last night, and then here early morning drop off. I know so many people in the comments tell me, they're like, dude, why you only take 2 loads? You could be working so much. I know, I mean, I understand some people might be new to my channel, but I like to keep a balance between home life and work life. I have my goal of hitting minimum $3,000 a week after all expenses, and if I hit that, I should stay right. Don't want to go left. So he's letting me in, but like I was saying, yeah, I didn't want to go left. I would have got stuck. I don't know if this looks really big on camera, but it's super tight. But looks like this is the only way to get to the receiver. They got this thing congested up. Alright. Yeah, but like I was saying, man, I have my goal of hitting minimum $3,000 a week after all expenses. That's on the low end, and anything above, I'm happy. As long as I hit my 3,000, man, that's all I need to do. Is this it? No, I should just keep driving. Like I told you guys, man, never been here, but it has to be this right here. It's not catering, so it has to be right there, I think. A truck is already here, so it's probably this. What I'll do is probably just set myself up so when I do back, well, I don't want to block that truck in because I think the guy was leaving. So I'll just park my truck where he's able to leave, and then I'll be able to back in if that is the spot. Look how tight this whole area is. My car's coming in. But this should be good. If he leaves and if they give me that dock to back into, and then I'll back in. So yeah, let's go check in. All right, the lady came out, just grabbed my paperwork, and basically said I can just back into any door, number 5 or 6. So I'm just gonna pick either one and just back in. But looks like there's a box truck either turning around or we'll see. All right, let's back in. All right, so I backed into door number 5. Then the lady came out. She said she actually misread the BOL, and I need to go across the building, which is the catering side, and check in. So here I am. So let's check in here now. Morning. Got delivery?
Yeah, back up right there.
This one right here? All right. All right, got a dock door. He wants me to back in right there. All right, back then, let's go open the doors and the lock. There's really not this much space up here. There's a truck right there and not that much space to turn around, but I did it somehow. And now let's open the door. All right, guys, back then. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this video. If you are, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. So I'm just gonna wait here a little bit, try to take an hour or two nap, and hopefully they do unload me fast, and then we'll go from there. All right, still getting unloaded. These people are taking their sweet time, but I want to add a couple more tips for new drivers. Basically, if you're a new driver, like expect to be out on the road for at least 1 to 2 weeks. I know you guys see my videos. Mostly I'm gone for 2 days, 3 days. And that type of home time comes after like 1 or 2 years of experience, especially after you get your own company. But if you're a company driver and you get your first job right out of school, like expect to be out for 1 to 2 weeks. Sometimes even some companies nowadays, from what I've seen, they do require 3 weeks minimum and 2 to 3 days home time. So that's something you guys should be looking forward to. And if you want more home time, then I think with experience, at least 1 year experience, 2 years experience, then you can slowly get into regional work and local work, which do require a lot of experience for you to get those kind of jobs. And another tip is literally when you get your first job, try to at least look for a company that is reputable. Don't make you work illegally. So what I mean by that is they don't make you work by changing your logbook and making you drive more than 11 hours. And when your reset comes, they just manually reset it and just make you keep driving. The reason I say that is because when you get caught by DOT, you're going to end up getting that on your record. It's not going to be on your company's record. It's going to be on your personal record, which is basically going to make you get another job tougher. So when you get your first job, make sure you find a good, reputable company. I recommend going with a mega carrier like Werner, Swift, Prime, companies like those. Because one, they have good training programs and they've been in the game for a long time and they won't make you work illegal. Their training is pretty good. They will teach you all the backing, driving, all the regulations. Also, right when you get your first job, stick to it for at least 6 months to a year. You don't want to be having that on your record where you're job hopping right out of CDL school, because most companies are not going to hire you and then you're gonna end up just sitting with a CDL, not having any work. So your first job, just find a good company, stick with it, and get your a year of experience, and then you can think about doing something else. Another tip is if you're in CDL school right now, or you plan on going into one for your license, I recommend getting all your endorsements, so your tanker, doubles, hazmat, and also try to get a TWIC card, because the more endorsements you have, and if you have a TWIC card right out of CDO school, then your opportunity to get hired is actually way higher than someone who doesn't have anything, and also your pay will be much higher compared to someone with no endorsements. Because I remember looking back at it now, if I would have had all my endorsements, I probably would have got a job much easier right out of CDO school, and my pay would have been way higher. Also, if I would have had my endorsements, then even with my own company, I'm able to pick up loads, even in my drive-in that require tanker endorsements. So your endorsements are gonna help you forever if you have it on your license, even when you try to get a job as a company driver, or if you start your own company and get your own authority. So there's no harm in that. Another tip is if you are backing in, so if you're new or if you're not new, regardless, right? If you're backing into a dock, you think you're gonna have a tough time, just always ask for help. Don't let your ego get in the way, because like in my 5 years of experience, trust me, I've seen so many drivers, new and people with experience, end up hitting mirrors of other trucks. That's gonna end up hurting your license, man. So just all you have to do is, if you're having a tough time or your gut is telling you you're not gonna be able to back into this place, just get out, ask for help. There's many drivers who are always willing to help other drivers, and don't let social media confuse you into thinking every driver's out to get other driver. This industry is actually very friendly, at least in my experience. Everyone's very helpful. The warehouse people are good. The brokers are actually nice. The drivers are all very nice. I think it's just the energy you give, the energy you get. So if you want to ask for help, just get out, ask, and that will help you learn more. That will help you keep your record clean. So that's what I recommend. And actually, that's very important that you do ask for help, especially when you are new. Don't act like you can do everything yourself. Another tip is, if you drive a car, I understand you're pretty much used to tailgating if you do it right. If you don't, then it's not for you. But if you tailgate in a car, it's way different. If you tailgate in a truck, you cannot stop your truck as fast as a car. So never tailgate, because you're gonna end up losing your life. I'm gonna tell you this: if you do, and then something happens down the road, you're not gonna be able to stop. So just put aside your ego that you want to go fast. You want to pressure the person ahead of you to going into faster, moving out of the way, man. In these trucks, you really got to have a cool mindset where you're able to just, if someone is messing up on the road, you just want to have a mindset like it's fine. You got to be the bigger person and just keep your distance. If you're late 10 minutes, 15 minutes is really not a big deal, especially if you're driving 11 hours, 10 hours a day. Then being late 30 minutes, 10 minutes, not an issue. Don't risk your life for making yourself temporarily or don't make your ego temporarily satisfied. Just keep your distance, and that is actually very important. Hopefully you guys do actually follow this tip. There's so many drivers I see out there that be tailgating literally two trucks, barely any space, not even for a car, just going 70 miles, 80 miles down the road. And I was like, one little mistake, one little tire blowout is gonna just basically end their life. So just don't do it. This is not a car. This is a big truck with 80,000 pounds of total weight. So don't risk your life for something. It's not worth it. Another tip is, when you're getting out of CDL school and you look for a company, you're starting your training, do not let your trainer treat this truck like a team truck. So what I mean by that is, whenever you're driving, your trainer is sleeping, and whenever your trainer is driving, he's telling you to sleep. That basically means team driving, and that's not something you're supposed to do. I'm sure their company policy doesn't allow it, but the trainer, in his back of his mind, he's just thinking about making the maximum amount of money. So he's just making you drive. The more miles you drive, the more money he puts in his pocket. And obviously, when you're training, the company's not paying you that much, maybe 20 cents a mile or sometimes even less. So that's something you don't want to do. Just learn how to say no. Just don't go with the flow. I understand if you're new, sometimes you're scared, you're nervous, and you just don't want to say no because your trainer is more experienced. He can drive the truck, he can back it up. So you think in your back of your mind that he knows what he's doing. But man, there's people out there that are super greedy and they will put their life at risk for more money. And that's something you do not want to do, is put your life at risk, especially in these big trucks. So just learn how to say no. Just do not go with the flow. Just because someone has more experience doesn't mean that they know what they're doing and they're always right. And another tip is, I don't know what's up with people being brand new truck drivers, and when they're in CDO school they want to start their own trucking company within a month or two after graduating. And I don't know if they realize, but if you start your own company, most insurance require for you to have your CDL for at least minimum of 1 year for you to insure. And if you have less than 1 year of your CDL, they're gonna coach you so high where you're gonna basically end up making no money in trucking. So I don't know where people are getting the information. Once you go to CDL school, right when you get out, you can start your company. That's not how it works. For me, I was a company driver for 2 years and a couple months, and then once I saved money, learned the industry, that's when I started my company. You don't want to rush into things and then end up having a tough time because people are not giving you the right amount of information. So, for example, if you take $100,000, $50,000, right, whatever amount is, out of CDO school, start your company, and then when it's time to get your insurance, they coach you like $50,000 because your CDO is super new. You don't have experience driving these trucks. That's not profitable, and you basically just wasted your money on down payment for the truck, your trailer. So just be cautious, understand what you're getting yourself into, and just take your time. Trucking, like I told you guys earlier, trucking is not going anywhere. If you start your company a year late, 2 years late, it's okay. It's better be safe than sorry. Learn the industry, learn what trucking really is, and if that's something you like, get your experience a year or two, and then think about starting your own company. The biggest misconception is that people, especially on social media, have spread is right when you get out of trucking school, you're gonna end up making six figures. And I'm telling you the reality is not gonna happen. And if it does, it's like less than 10% of the people, probably even 5%, that have connections in the industry where they're able to get high paying jobs. But for the majority of the people right out of CDO school, you're gonna end up making like $800 to $1,000 a week. And most companies, they're like the mega carriers, they're paying like 45 cents to 50 cents per mile. So it's not really that much, but don't come into trucking thinking you're going to make a lot of money your first year. Just think of first year as an experience where you're just here to learn back end driving rules, just driving the truck, being in the truck, seeing if you're able to even like this industry, right? So if you get to your first year, your second year, you're able to get a better job, high paying job, third year even higher, fourth year even higher, and then as you save money, then you can start your own company, get your own authority, and then that's when the money starts coming in. So don't get in this industry thinking you're gonna make a lot of money, because I remember when I was in CDO school, majority of the students were literally talking about how in like next month after they graduate, they're gonna start making six figures, and that doesn't happen. And just not something you want to get in this industry thinking, because if you get in this industry thinking you're going to make six figures in 3 months out of CDO school, then you're going to end up burning yourself out because you're not going to see that type of money, which is going to make you quit or just be kind of depressed. So just have a clear vision, understand what you're going to expect out of this industry, and then focus on your goal. If your goal is to just get a couple years of experience as a company driver, save money, start your own company, then you will be successful. And another most important tip is, guys, you guys need to start thinking about your retirement. I understand when you work a regular job like 9 to 5, they contribute to your 401k, which helps you save for retirement, right? With trucking, it's not like that, especially if you become a company driver. Most companies out there give you 1099, which means they don't take any taxes out, and you're responsible for all your taxes. You're responsible for your future savings, retirements, Roth IRAs, 401ks, everything, right? So have a plan in place where you are, steadily thinking about your retirement. If you're making $1,000 a week, you need to start putting at least $100 aside every week into a Roth IRA, into index funds, something. So at least 30 years, 40 years down the line, you have some type of investments to fall back to whenever you're not able to work for health issues, or you just hit the retirement age where you just don't want to work or drive trucks. So just think about the future. Don't always think about now. And if you start making more money, just start putting more money aside. And personally, what I do is if I make like $3,000 a week after all expenses, I like to put at least 50, 60% in index funds. Start saving for the future because that's what really matters. You don't want to be out there working when you're 60 years old, 70-year-old, 80-year-old driving trucks. So always think about your future. Even if you're a company driver right out of CDO school, the earlier you start, the better off you will be later down the line. Another thing is when you get into trucking, learn how to take time for yourself. And what I mean by that is don't just rush into getting the next load, trying to make the most amount of money where you end up ruining your health, your mental health, and overall just being mentally not okay, right? So I was someone that was a victim of that. That when I started out, especially with my company, I just used to rush, next load, most amount of money, numbers, where you forget to live. And there's more to life than just trucking, no matter how much money you make, right? You didn't just come into life to just work all the time, make the most amount of money. There's more things. So learn how to have a balance, right? If you learn how to have a balance, I think you, in the long term, you will end up becoming successful. You end up doing it for a long time. You don't want to be someone that gets into trucking, burns yourself out within a couple of years, and then you quit, and then you're back to zero where you started. You want to at least, when you do get out of in trucking, you want to at least get out of it with something to show. So, for example, you want to have a good investment portfolio. You want to have at least build a house. You want to get a car if that's something you want to do. You want to become debt free. Have something to show for it when you do get out of trucking. Do not leave trucking when you get burned out. So just take things slow, have a balance, and trucking is not going anywhere, even if you do not take one load. So, and that's my advice. Another tip is whenever you're getting loaded, you have time. So sometimes shippers take 2 hours to get you loaded. Get out of the truck and start walking. You can have your headset on, listen to music, whatever you want to do, right? Watch videos on YouTube. Just walk, because you do not want to be sitting down. And then what's the point? You're trading money for your health, and that's something you don't want to do. Money is never first. Health is first. If you can have millions of dollars and the moment you have one health problem, everything is meaningless. So that's something you don't want to do. So when you're getting loaded and unloaded, just learn or get in a habit to walk, and you're going to thank yourself 10, 20 years down the road. So the next tip is always keep yourself educated, because trucking is the only profession where you have nothing but time. So whenever you're driving, just try to learn about anything that interests you, right? For example, I like to listen to ebooks, investing, real estate, how restaurants are able to expand, just broad amount of topics, because whenever you're making money in trucking, you got to understand how to invest your money, how to grow your money. That's something I'm interested in, and whatever you're interested in, trucking will give you that time to learn. So always keep learning. Other than that, that's all for the tips for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. The thing is, man, these people are taking forever to load. And also another tip, most shippers and receivers, they're quick to unload, and there's some like this place that take a couple hours to unload. So don't let it frustrate you. It's all part of the industry. It's the job you chose. But other than that, man, hopefully you guys did like watching this video. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.